Hello, welcome back to another episode in A Spiritual Ascension, my own 5-year journey, telling everything that happened to me before and since what's happened since. So when I left off, I had just landed in New Hampshire, thinking that's where I was supposed to be. And kind of for those next 5 days after getting there, kind of not knowing, not getting any answers from the universe as far as what was next. Where was I supposed to go? I'm sorry. And being full of anxiety and nervousness because I wasn't getting any answers. And I thought I was supposed to be in New Hampshire along the border of New Hampshire and Maine, somewhere along there. And the universe was not giving me any answers as far as what to do. So I can't remember where I stayed Sunday night. I was trying to find my date book. I couldn't find it, but I think I had got in touch with a woman who had a room for rent in Barrington, New Hampshire. And she had said, well, someone's just moving out now. It's going to take me a couple of days to get the room cleaned up and everything. Contact me, and then we can make arrangements for you to see the room. So he's like, fine, that's fine, whatever. I said, if you need help, you want me to clean it up, I do anything at this point. So she goes, no, no. She says, I'll contact you when it's ready, when you can come and see it. So I know around Monday, I said, well, let me go up to Dover because that's where I was supposed to end up living, where I thought initially. And I said, I hadn't visited Dover yet. Let me see what Dover is all about. And I walked around there a little bit. I think I went to the library there and kind of spent some time because I didn't want to really like spend money, because I was trying to conserve. I was already spending a lot on hotels over those few days. And I ended up staying in Dover overnight, Monday night. And then I got up the next day and still kind of just driving around, um, still trying to get answers. Um, and it's the thing, I didn't really get to appreciate what the universe was trying to show me. Like, you're here, like, enjoy your surroundings. And that's just another thing for you guys as you're going along your journey. And I've been saying this a lot, I know, as far as spilling that spoon in the alchemist, the king, I believe he is, tells the young guy to go around and to not keep the oil in his spoon, to spill it so that as he's let me back up. As he's going through his castle and everything, to really look around you and see what's around, to observe, to take everything in. And as you're doing that, you're automatically not going to be focused on this oil that's in your spoon, and you're going to end up dropping that oil from the spoon. And I didn't do that. I was so focused on that oil in the spoon that I didn't, I'm going to get emotional, that I didn't really observe all the beautiful things that were around me. The White Mountains of New Hampshire were so close, and the greenery, like everything was just starting to spring up because it was May, beginning of May, and there was so much beauty around me, but I was totally ignoring that. So focused, I got to find a home. I got to find a home. Anyway, still back and forth with this woman, but I feel like she's eluding me in some way. Finally, she says, okay, Wednesday evening, can you meet me um, after 5 o'clock? I said, fine, that's fine, no problem. So I figured, okay, one night, more night in the hotel on Tuesday. I stayed in Dover again. I got up on Wednesday and I said, let me do something adventurous, because I kind of was just staying in that immediate area and hadn't really ventured too far out because I wanted to be in that area. If someone called me back to say, oh, hey, can you come see the room now or something? So I said, let me do something adventurous today. So Concord is the capital of New Hampshire. So I drove all the way out to Concord and I figured do that during the day. I'll drive back. And where she was located was in Barrington, New Hampshire, which is not too far off of the New Hampshire Maine border. So I said, well, maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. It's not really far from that New Hampshire Maine border. So I drove out to Concord, walked around a little bit, went to the library, um, just to be able to sit somewhere. And then I guess around 1, 2 o'clock, I drove back. And I said, let me just be in the Barrington area, like at least an hour beforehand. So in case she calls and says, oh, can you come a little earlier or whatever, I'll be there. So I remember finding a like gas station mini mart type of thing and kind of sitting in a parking lot and waiting because I think she said 5 o'clock and waiting. So I said, well, I'll give her, 5:30 and then reach out and say, are we doing this? 5 o'clock came, nothing. And this kind of was this games for the like almost a week of going back and forth with her. 5:15, nothing. 5:30, I text her and I said, I'm here in Barrington. Um, Let me know if we can still meet. Didn't hear anything back. I'm like, oh my goodness, because it's now starting to get kind of dark out. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I said, and I don't know if I've said this before recently, but anytime you come into some kind of resistance, that means it's not meant for you. So if you keep trying something and keep trying and keep trying, that's like almost like insanity and trying to get it to work and it's not working, let it go. And that's the universe trying to protect you from something. And it took me a long time to learn that. So sometimes I'll give something once. If I get some kind of resistance, like sometimes, things kind of fall apart or someone's not ready. They say, oh, can you come tomorrow instead? I'm sorry. Like, okay, you might give it a second chance. If it still doesn't work out, let it go. And that's something I really had to learn was I kept trying and kept trying and kept trying, even in my relationships with different people. And that's a whole nother subject, but you try to work out um, relationships with certain ones and they keep doing the same hurtful things to you. And believe me, I was one of those people pleasers who kept trying and trying and trying and was allowing people to manipulate me and stomp all over me and not seeing the clear picture. So I'm sitting in this parking lot of this gas station and I'm like, okay, I get it now. I get it now. So I take out my phone and I go on the travel app and I say, okay, I got to find a hotel, cheapest hotel I can find because I've already used up a lot of money. And the cheapest hotel I could find is in Wells, Maine. And when I was doing all my research about New Hampshire and had also looked up Wells and Ogunquit and York along the coast there and said, oh, I can't wait to visit all those areas later on. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, that's the cheapest hotel, but that's in Maine. And I said, oh my God. It was like aha moment. I'm like, oh my goodness. universe, like spirit, you want me to go to Maine? And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Oh, okay. And that was like a real moment there because and then realizing I had wasted so much time in New Hampshire for that past week of just driving around trying to hold on to something that wasn't even supposed to be. Like I'm supposed to be in New Hampshire. I wanted so badly to be in New Hampshire. And you know what the thing is too, I tell a lot of people now, New Hampshire didn't feel right for me anyway. Beautiful, met some really nice people and stuff. It just didn't feel right, but I was kind of forcing it to feel right. So now I got to figure out how to get to Wells from where I am in Barrington, New Hampshire. And I had booked a room and off season. So if you know anything about the coast, New England coast, a lot of those little hotels along the coastway are only kind of open. The office is open from like 9 to 5 or so. And then they kind of close down during the off season. And like Memorial Day to Labor Day is when they're open, like the office is open 24/7. So when I called like kind of just in time. The owner, whoever it was, called me back after I had booked. And they said, "Are you coming now?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm on my way." And they said, "Okay, we're going to leave the key in the mailbox." And it was a small, like, beach hotel. So I said, "Okay." And no problem. I was just so thankful, like, to find a decent hotel that was, on the lower side, not too expensive. So I went across I was trying to think, I did go up to Kittery during that first week at one point. They had some outlets up there. I had walked around, but I still kept going back to New Hampshire. I'm supposed to be in New Hampshire. And when I got to Maine, there was this whole different feeling. And I got to Wells, and it was now dark. And I couldn't find the front door of the place. And I ended up in the back and went in this, actually, it was like a fire door, and got down to the lobby and then figured out, oh, okay, I got to go around this way. And then went back outside and went in the mailbox and got the key and got into the room and was just so happy to have landed somewhere for that night. And I'm like it really hitting me hard now that all this time the universe had told me to go to the New Hampshire Maine border, but they didn't tell me where to go from there. I assumed that I was supposed to be in New Hampshire somewhere around Portsmouth. I had assumed it. The universe hadn't told me that's where you're supposed to be. So now the thing was, after wasting a week and a half of trying to navigate this on my own, this is me now learning about spiritual navigation, that I have to listen out for the instructions from the universe. I was trying to listen to my own instructions and not listen to that of spirits. And I could have saved a whole lot of time and money if I would have just listened more closely. So I'm going to leave this one here and tell you what happens from there. And thank you again for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.